Hey, what up, everybody? What y'all up to? What y'all doing? We are back in effect once again. Me and Venom, G54. So he's in his environment, but I'm not in mine. So that's why you see him, but you can't see me. But you can see my new avatar, though, y'all. Yeah, I kind of want to, for me at my channel, I kind of want to make that a kind of like a special occasion when people get to see me in a raw. That's for me and my wolf pack, all of y'all that be here on the regular. I do that for y'all, you know. So yeah, like yeah, there's definitely a lot of trollers out there, but yeah, we definitely gonna go in on this one. So like I normally do, I gotta get out my little microphone and all of that so I can be okay, squeaky clean for y'all voice wise. But yeah, how's everybody been doing? How's everybody day been going? How your day been going, Venom?
Oh, so far so good. But I'm in one of them zones where it's plenty of rain, and since I'm not shacked up or cuddled up and all that kind of hooked up thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm enduring the storm on the solo tip.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is what they call cuffing season, like what the rapper Fabulous said. So yeah, a lot of folk want to do that old cuffing and cuddling and all that right now.
Yeah. They taking
Yeah,
applications and
using people for that reason.
then ejecting them come February.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, for all I know, I think I might not even I don't think I'm gonna use my microphone today. I think we're gonna be good. You hear me pretty good right now. Everything sound kind of cool.
Hey, you A1, you clear?
Okay, yeah, we ain't gonna worry about this. Sometimes because I'm trying to get my new microphone and I'm gonna keep saying it until I get it. But yeah, this cheap microphone makes my voice sound a little too harsh when I talk sometimes. So yeah, man. But basically just for starters, just give me a little bit more of your background in regards to just overall your journey, I guess, because you're basically you understand the principles of a black knight, aka the gentleman, but you're basically you went past that and you're now monk. But I think like your journey prior to monk, you could probably kind of sort of talk a little bit about the journey, but also I guess as a summary for everybody else, um, we're going to talk a little bit about Venom's journey, but then we also going to talk more about a Black Knight's life. So what that really is like on a regular basis, because when I talked about Black Knight with Sunrise Hoodie, it was just basically from like a medieval apocalyptic standpoint. So right now it's just mainly about what his life would be like right now, be outside of all the feudal in the apocalyptic side. So Venom has a very interesting story about himself. So he ain't gonna bore y'all, but a lot of
Okay.
his life is similar to a Black Knight's life. So go ahead, take it away, take it away.
All right, for starters, I'm just the average person, you know what I'm saying? I don't consider myself special, better than nobody else, nothing like that at all. But one thing that anybody that knows me on a personal level and has been any in depth, they're gonna tell you straight up that I'm one of those people that always made very drastic and different choices than the average person that came from my environment. And that came one from my upbringing, two from my personal discipline, and the third reason I'd say because I had always a bit of, you can describe it as a clairvoyance, meaning that I had foresight and hindsight that was comparable to somebody with extraordinary discipline, meaning that if I pay attention to signs and details that a lot of other people would take for granted, I've always listened mainly to my gut as opposed to what the words or even sometimes the false actions of others, meaning that it's easy to be deceived if you're not grounded, fully understand yourself, or trust yourself. And a lot of people don't trust themselves because they have fear, and they have that fear of making a mistake. Well, when you've made mistakes and you've learned to correct those mistakes, and then you have an elephant's memory, then you can look back and say, you know what? This reminds me of something. Let me choose this route. And whether win or lose, succeed or fail, at least I'll have the experience of doing something different other than following the droves of masses that decide to just go with the flow. Being a black knight, or in similar terms, a monk slash sigma in a lot of ways, has always been my personality. But being that I had enough alpha characteristics, or being select, or whatever you want to call it, outside of the finances, I started noticing that I had a lot of empathy for my fellow man. And when I notice something that ain't quite right, I'll call it out as opposed to just going with the flow and for my own personal benefit or gain. Because you ask me, I'll look at something like, yeah, that might be good money, but is my conscience going to be right with that? Is my will going to be aligned with that? Is that going to be something to bring negative karma or drama, even on a later note, into my life that I didn't ask for and anticipate? So it's a matter of making those select choices. Was one thing that I noticed that inherently within me made me understand the fact that just the average job, boring day-to-day life, no matter what the skill level, it just quite wasn't enough for me. So before I even got out of high school, I had already pretty much made up my mind that outside of never considering it, other than the brainwash you get from Disney and a few other programs from G.I. Joe and on up, I felt like a part of me was kind of like a disciplined soldier, and that I would be more of a contribution of utilizing my skills and abilities, my wit, my knowledge in defense and protection of others, as opposed to just seeking personal gain. So, of course, come 96, I had spent a couple of years where I was just intensely training physically, mentally, within the arts, spiritually, and everything kept leading to say, yeah, join the service. Get out of the riffraff of putting in job applications, working and doing menial tasks, and basically only elevating to the status of how much money you're making. I wanted to adventure, seek out, see parts of the world that you're not exposed to in the inner city areas where I grew up. And so I basically got to the point where I trained. I'd go for long hikes and runs and things like that with a backpack full of bricks. I'd lift 5 days a week. I'd run anywhere between 15 to 20 miles a week. And I would, of course, with my discipline of martial arts, utilize that to make sure I was prepared, as in comparable to ancient times, being a warrior in a garden as opposed to being a farmer at war. So that was always the mindset. And a lot of times I felt past, present, and I'm quite sure it won't change for the future, that I might have been born in the wrong era, because a lot of what I look around and see that I wouldn't approve of, as far as other men, that, like I said, I don't consider myself better, but definitely different. But I see a lot of guys, they want to take the shortcut, the easy way out. I don't mind working hard. I don't mind working long hours. And I don't mind helping others out if it's within my means. And sometimes, even when it ain't, I've taken that sacrificial chance and just done it. Well, fast forward to present time with no regrets, except for I wouldn't have partied near as much if I knew what I know now back then. It was actually partying and going out doing that average kind of lifestyle stuff of recreation that kind of wound me up in the boat that I'm in. That is, being a disabled veteran now for 20 plus years, as opposed to a career that could have lasted that long with the accolades, promotions, and a pretty penny in the bank. So basically, I'm one of those people that If I see blatant bit of dishonesty or somebody trying to manipulate, I'll call it out. It's not going to fly past me. May not be my business, but if you're trying to take advantage of a loved one or somebody that I personally know, and I know that they can't afford, the scam that you're running past their ears, I'm going to basically inform them, hey, look, I used to be a salesman. I was damn good at it, whether it was door-to-door Kirby sales, whether it was telemarketing sales, customer service, it didn't matter, because one thing about salesmen is they have that confidence and they learn things pretty quickly. I'm one of those people that I can learn on the fly. I can look at something, see it once, and if it happens to be a technique or movement, I can 9 times out of 10 mimic it flawlessly, but not mimic it as in utilize it just for display or for show, but utilize it effectively. So when I started paying attention to those talents and I saw my integrity being at a level that I wasn't seeing everywhere else, it was kind of like I live by a code. You know, we had discussed before, Ronin, which were samurais that were dishonored for whatever reason. They had a failure on their record, so they got fired, canceled. But it doesn't take away from their skills or their nobility. It just means that they're presently unemployed. They're wandering. They work for self now. So they're really close aligned to Black Knights, bringing it on up to forward and now, being the subject matter of the Black Knight and their lifestyle. It's a very, very lonely road. And to most, and that's the way I can describe it to you, because even though I am alone, I'm not lonely. This was a choice. I could go out and I could be the average, I could try and chase women or go that route, even though it ain't in me. I know my success rate is usually 7 of 10 at any attempt at what I desire. But what I found was it was still outside of my character. Your ability and your character, if they don't come together and it's not a smooth, cohesion, then you're doing something outside of your character just to do something because it's within your ability. So it's kind of like saying you got a person that is a highly trained assassin. The difference between a highly trained assassin and a murderer is the assassin's doing it specifically for money. A murderer's doing it because they get kicks off of it. It's stimulating something in their brain. It's something that was off. It made them want to go out and do that for their own personal joy or enthusiasm. An assassin's just going to do it because, hey, I need the money. This is the job. No questions asked. It's on. Now, a murderer may have a lot of skills. They might have trained in that. Same with an assassin. The assassin does it more along the lines of they trained for that, they prepared for that, and that's their life's bread. They go out and they make their money because, hey, that's what they chose. For whatever reason, they didn't have a purpose other in life or anything that would drive them other than, hey, making money by all means. So an
Right,
assassin,
right.
a drug
Yeah,
dealer,
go ahead. You say it was about you say what else you was gonna say right quick?
an assassin, a drug dealer, or a person
Drug
like a
dealer.
pimp or so, they're doing it because they're focused on their grind, just like a CEO is of a company. But
Yeah.
modern day times, your Black Knight is going to be one, they'll turn the other cheek on something that pretty much doesn't bother them until it gets under their skin. But usually the way it'll get under their skin is you violating one of their principles. It's
Right. Now, check this out. Check this out. Because want to kind of do a Cuban link to kind of some of these next talking points. So my thing would be first and foremost, shout out to everybody in the building so far. I am Sweet, Bradley, Brown Do Life. Good to see y'all. Good to see everybody else that's in the clouds checking me out. Uh Bradley said, I like that. A combination of ability in conjunction with one's character. That's what's up. Yes, indeed. So my question to you, Venom, I noticed that there's not many monks from your generation, there's more simps. Can you explain that dynamic?
It goes right back to what I was speaking on before, having certain morals and principles. Some guys, they feel like, hey, I got to go with the flow and go along to get along. So if they've been brainwashed enough, just like those that become assassins or soldiers or, even decide to be a monk because they feel that calling within their genes, or they feel that within like an inheritance, something that's been passed down from father to son and on and so on. They feel like, hey, I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. I just want to do me and get by. So a lot of guys are simping because they too busy paying attention to the brainwashing of the media. The media say it ain't tricking if you got it. But there was another content creator, Red Supreme, as a matter of fact. He said it's definitely tricking if you got it. As a matter of fact, you can't do any tricking unless you got it. That's the whole purpose of it. And I wholeheartedly agree there. But when you got the mindset of being more Sigma or Alpha with the context of being one that's not seeking attention, not desiring affection, and you have that stern confidence within yourself, you don't have to go with the flow. You could do something completely out of the ordinary and you're still going to attract the opposite sex or comrades that are on your level that are going to relate and understand, which is why I can say I've met maybe 4 Twilights in my lifetime. And out of those 4 Twilights, I still have a really heavy connection with them. And that is because I stuck to what I run by. I accept
So
nothing other than what I deserve or desire.
that's
And
deep.
it's
That's
not
deep.
a
You brought
matter
that
of,
up. So would you consider that like the main trait of a Twilight, that she sticks by you, she doesn't leave? Like, she knows, she understands a gentleman slash Black Knight, and she doesn't leave. Like you say, you still in touch with them. So you think
not in
that's a
touch
major
as
trait of a
in
Twilight, huh?
not in touch as in disrespectfully or not, whatnot,
Right.
but I'm one of those rare guys that I have a lot of lady friends. Some are married now that were, of course, with me in the past. And I consider them Twilights because, regardless of the fact that they're loving and loyal to their husband, without any doubt, they'll still profess their love for me, for my character, for my integrity, for me
Mm.
being the type of man that I am. And they even admitted to me in front of their husbands this exact information. So it was no secret, nothing hidden, no disrespectful conversations behind their back. And I can still honor and respect them for that, as they honor and respect me for being one to stand solid in my square.
Woo! Hey, and with that said, I'm gonna explain to Bradley. Oh, he wanted to know what a Twilight is, so you can give me your perspective. You understand Twilight, so that's cool. So you can follow up after I break it down to him the initials. So but yeah, Bradley, check out when you get a chance. Go on my playlist, live streams from yours truly, and you'll see the title "Female Black Knight." Now that's clickbait because really she's a Twilight. Now a Twilight is the twinkle of a Black Knight's light, or in layman's terms, she's basically a reflection of a man's light. So similar to the sun, like around dawn and around dusk, you can see the twilight. That's what they call the twilight. You know what I'm saying? And so that's in essence when a lady is in her pure femininity, she's gonna be like a twilight. So in essence, that's what Venom was explaining, is that these ladies still had his light. And shout out, and hopefully that kind of explains that a little more for you, the whole Twilight definition, Bradley. Venom gonna give you his perspective, given his experience. But before that happens, shout out to Kimberly Blue. Good to see you in the building for the first time, sweetie. Uh, and as I just told Bradley, go into my playlist, live streams from yours truly. You'll see some live streams that I did there called Female Black Knights, which is clickbait, but it's really about her being a Twilight, not a female Black Knight. And then after that, also for you too, Bradley, check out the Prototype Woman. It just explains more about the whole Twilight thing. But yeah, Venom, your perspective on these twilights in your life. Like you said, why were they so much of a twilight for you? Or just explain your definition of twilight given your experiences.
My definition, given my experiences as being with the four that I mentioned, three of them were prior to me becoming a sensei, and one was following. The one following is why I had the also inclination to say a twilight could also be known as a Valkyrie, which of course is mythological in some ways, but they literally know that the rarity that they see in you and them being a reflection of your light. Now, this is not even speaking on the intimacy of being sexually involved or coupled up, but they see the mission you on, and in their femininity, they want to be helpful. They want to be of assistance. They would do pretty much whatever within their power and reason to be of assistance to a Black Knight. My specific version of a Black Knight is intertwined with, I'd say, 20% alpha, 50% sigma, and the other 30% monk. And the reason why I say that is because monk has been a transition that I've made that started as early as 2011, which was just about a year prior to me achieving the rank of 3rd degree black belt and becoming a sensei. The difference is the previous Twilights I met, they were romantic involvements. They were somebody that wanted to assist me because of either deep, found, and grown friendships, personal relationships, or the fact that they saw in me what they didn't see in the average. And out of that curiosity, they wanted to know more. But as they learned more, they were granted within my personal space enough exposure to not only be curious about what it was that drove me, what it was that kept me going, what it was that allowed me to endure and to look at everything else as a distraction. They wanted to learn that focus. They wanted to learn those skills. They wanted to figure out ways to be as non-conforming to the general society at large, that we're all just following like lemmings. They wanted to learn how to stand out and how to do it in a way to where it was authentic, in a way to where if challenged, they could have that confidence and it not just be verbal, it not just be oratory, it not just be a philosophy, but be able to take action on it.
Right.
So
That practicality, I was gonna say another word besides practicality. I can't think of the word right now. They have to come back to me. But just basically hands-on with everything. But
they wanted to be a practitioner.
right, practic yeah, dang, that was another word. I'm gonna have to think about it off the top of my head. But I was gonna say, like back in the day, because right now we got these entitled females that aren't women. They use the word queens, whereas it's actually better if she pragmatic. That's what I meant. Pragmatic. Yes. You was showing them the whole pragmatic side. But yeah, back in them, probably back in your days, you probably known of a chick like that as like a Ace Boone Coon, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So just someone that's like, she's just there right by your side. You can rely on her. She wants to learn from you. You know what I'm saying? But I guess in the essence of a Black Knight's life, because this is definitely getting very interesting. Uh, stick to that point of the Twilights, because we're gonna get back to that. And it seems like the ladies spoke before I even got a chance to say this, and I haven't said this in a while, but yeah, time to get your popcorn, get your nachos, get your hot dogs, and get your soda. It's gonna be a doozy tonight. Yeah, buddy. So get it on. That's what we finna do. Oh, Bradley, he said, okay, I understand. Thanks for the explanation. I will check out those videos. Yes, do that, fam. It's the some of them got glitches. Like the first videos of the female Black Knights, except for the recap, but they're all still good. Endure the glitches. And then the prototype woman, that doesn't have glitches either. But either way, you're going to enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy every bit of it. Okay, Venom. Now here's the thing, because I know you mentioned like oh, see, hey, she's coming with some questions. We're gonna have to answer some more questions. Let's see this. Kimberly Blue. She said a black knight is red pilled or white pilled. I'm so dumb, I should know this. Oh no, it's no biggie. At the core, a black knight is red pill versus the white knight, which is blue pill. Okay. So that's why we've been like on this renaissance right now. And of course, the white pill aspect is just more or less this is kind of a the Black Knight is actually both red pill and white pill. And so white pill, check out my live stream that I did in my playlist live streams from yours truly where it talks about white pill. But basically, white pill is faith. Okay. And so the Black Knight is both, and whereas he can either remain as a Black Knight or he can transition fully into a monk. And so the monk, I believe for the most part, is still also this dual red pill and white pill because he sees things. And like you said, Venom, he just has this ultra sensory. So it's sort of like a guru type. And I've noticed people that do white pill videos, uh, you be having a lot of people that come from like this guru sensei background. They might not understand faith, but they do understand like the dynamics of just this higher realm, you know, this higher space, like you said, Venom, the sensei aspect of everything, you know. So
It's like
yes.
that previous live stream that we did where I was speaking of it being spiritual, physical, and mental. Once you attain a certain level of discipline, and it's nothing that you're awarded a trophy for or anything like that, but it unlocks, you know, some of the bars that have been put on by modern day society of your sensory, meaning your taste, your sense of smell, your sense of ESP, to put it simply, meaning I can meditate deeply at times, even when I'm not asleep at all, and I can listen to and almost like a sonar sense animals, air pressure, and different things going on in the environment outside of the four walls of my habitation without viewing it with my physical eyes and without imagining it, but literally listening close enough, paying attention to the vibrations, and that going on to a level to where you can literally tell what dog went by. And this dog hasn't barked, but you may hear very faintly his claws on the street or whatever he ran up against real quick. Those types of things to where you don't even need your eyes to judge what's going on around you. That heightened level of discipline comes from a person meditating, spending that time doing so on a regular basis, them learning to slow their heart rate, to calm their anxieties, treat your own depression, things like that. So a twilight is going to be one that's going to see that stability in you, whether y'all even have a conversation. She's going to seek you out. That's one thing I've noticed about twilights is that they seek you out. They may stay states away, but they will have a gut feeling and be able to sense you as you sense them and will check up on you as opposed to just saying, oh, they'll be all right. There's been times when I literally had a heat stroke. I had traveled from Edwardsville, Kansas to Kansas City, Missouri on foot, disabled. And because I did it in a 117-degree heat index, didn't matter how much water I drank, that was such a toll on my body. And at the age that I did, I was mid 30s. It was just a matter of, it really wasn't possible for no human being, not even a former Marine. And disabled at that, I made it all but 3 miles after going through basically a county and two cities to get back to my home city, and made it all but 3 miles to home. Passed out from a heat stroke on the side of the road, basically dehydrated with salt crystal from head to toe. Phone, of course, was in my pocket, couldn't use it. Got scraped up off the side of the road by some law enforcement who swore up and down I was dead. And I'm just telling them, hey, look, I ain't got no warrants. There ain't no problem. I'm trying to get home. Leave me alone. That's where I'm headed. Best you can do is just give me a ride 3 miles up the road and I'm good. Oh, no, we can't do that. Because if you pass away, die, or whatever, we don't want to be responsible. I'm like, oh, that's nonsense. You know, I'll be fine. Drink me some water and go. They're like, no, actually, we don't think so. And I'm sitting here confused, like, what do you mean? They said, judging by the salt crystal that was sweat, obviously, that's covering you from head to toe, you were wearing all black. And we can only tell that by the corner of one of the pieces of your outfit. I was wearing an all black starter outfit, short set, and it was literally a bright gray from salt crystal that I had sweat in it that was just literally crystallized on me. But a few days in the VA, getting rehydrated by IVs and all that good stuff, and up and on the recovery. Well, the Twilight that I had met prior to being a sensei met me, and she just said she had a feeling. Now, at the time, she was in Oklahoma. I was in Kansas City, Missouri. She traveled to Kansas City, Missouri after having this feeling of something wasn't right. And she attempted to contact me and couldn't. And then literally did a search, found out that I was in the hospital, and lo and behold, came to visit me, which was a complete and total shock to me. Because the only reason why me and that specific Twilight didn't get together was I just told her, look, my preference is, and not saying anything wrong with you, but at my age and at your age, you know, we pretty much missed it by, you know, the limitations of what I'm looking for. Not saying you're a bad person, not saying you don't meet all the qualifications, but you're a little too much my elder for me to view you in that way, even though we did have intimate moments. So, of course, she came to visit, made sure that I was all right, spent the first night with me when I was released from the hospital. Just wanted to make sure I was okay, by all means. Now, when a person can have a connection with you like that, that you may not have even spoken to in years, then that's a lot deeper than your traditional puppy love, love at first sight. Oh, yeah, I got feelings for a person, but this
Right.
connection was unmistakable. It was
That's
there.
why I think that's what makes those type of ladies twilights, you know, especially in these times. And I think for these modern times, that is very important. You know, I know personally, I've been far removed from this idea of a queen or just a typical girlfriend and all that stuff. You know, uh, I would say, yes, she would have to be a twilight. There has to be something very distinct about her in order for her to be that in tune with you. You know, in order for her, like you said, to check up on you, even in your worst of state. And she's just that concerned. Basically, in many ways, she was symbiotic to you. She was
Mhm.
that connected to you. If she's not that connected to you, she's basically not a reflection of your light. She can't be your twilight because she's not a reflection of your light. Literally. Kimberly Blue, she said, you had bond, and that's why she's a twilight. Got it. Bingo.
And the fact that it was a bond with a Black Knight,
That's
one
it. Because
who
yeah,
was
that's
previously.
the and I would say that's the only way she could be a twilight. She would have to bond with a black knight, because otherwise she ain't gonna be so bright. Literally. And we see this. Do we not see this? We see how they end up bonded or molded per se. I want to say molded. I don't know, but nevertheless, they're connected with guys that aren't even having brightness enough to give them a certain energy to where they can shine with them. Like when they talk about this glow, well, she doesn't have a glow unless she's with a black knight. She's not going to glow, you know. Uh,
True. And this particular lady that I was speaking on, that was one of my twilights, or is one of my twilights, has been married for over 10 years now. And we can still speak as friends. We can still communicate. And it doesn't have to be sneaky behind her husband's back or anything. It's a matter of, she has already let him know, look, this guy here, he did not choose me just due to our age difference. She found her a good man, a solid man, a husband, and they've been happy. They've been cool and cohesive. I'm welcome to visit. That's the depth of understanding that you find with the Twilight. They're not going to be the type to disrespect any man that they're with, but they will understand the differences of men. They will seek out the qualities of that Black Knight in any man that they would allow themselves to be attached to. So me knowing that about myself and understanding myself, I also understand that her husband must be also a magnificent man because that's who she chose when previously would have been myself. But because I didn't let myself choose, then she, of course, had to find that or be without, period. And very beautiful and intelligent woman, a grinder, a gritter, somebody that takes their health first and foremost, understands that, hey, if you got to get wicked sometimes to defend yourself, no problem. I mean, literally, if you think about somebody that one is very patient, very understanding, not the type of person to offend someone unless it's very much so warranted and called for, then you'll understand some aspects of a black knight, but you'll also understand what's going to be the embodiment of a twilight, which is his reflection. And
That's
another
what's up. Oh,
another
go
that I
ahead.
ran into that was also a twilight was a student of mine some years back when I lived in another rural kind of smaller country town of Texas, and they just noticed something different about me. At the same time, beyond platonic, meaning that she saw me more as somebody that she could be romantically involved with, she could have seen a future with, someone she was highly attracted to, and it all went beyond physical. That's the difference right there. When you're a black knight, you're more listening to your third eye as opposed to relying on your natural eyes or your ears. You're guided by your gut. You move and act upon what is truly inspirational, what is something that is within your roots that is coming to the exterior. Because we all understand once you get to a certain level that any personal development that you have started on the inside. And then you brought that and cultivated that. And then that shines forward from within. So they see that, recognize that, and then they emulate and reflect that back. So
Bingo. Bingo.
in her ways of noticing that in me, I also, even without, I couldn't ignore it. You know, it was like you can feel it. It was just as thick as, you know, putty instead of fog in front of your face. You can feel it. And when it happened, she literally let me know, hey, look, it's something different about you. I really can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but it's nothing superficial. And I want to get to know you. When you actually meet a Twilight, she may wait on you to approach her, but best believe the choosing signals are prevalent. They're there. And it's not a matter of it just being a lustful interaction. They want to know you through and through as much as you'll share. And then they're going to reciprocate as well. It's never going to be a one sided thing. Any true, valid, and real connection is always reciprocal.
Yes,
Till this
most
day,
definitely. And this is kind of so I could we could go further along with this, but one thing I did also want to ask you, Venom. Now, now, could like your path to being a monk, could what was it like? One of the reasons was due to, excuse me, was it due to probably the less likelihood, like let's say the amount of twilights dwindle, like the possibility you noticed that there weren't a lot of females that you thought could be woman enough to be like a twilight, like did that kind of lead you towards more of being a monk as time went on?
what made me decide to be a monk, and mind you, not 100% celibate monk, but by choice celibate, but only celibate because, like you said, that qualities that I seek for and that connection that I desire, I'm complete within myself. But if I'm going to share myself with someone, it's going to be with someone that it wouldn't be a waste of my time to teach, someone that is willing to follow my lead and learn, someone that is going to be cooperative, feminine, not someone who is, oh, you got to do this and that for me. It's never been within my nature to chase women. I can approach, but I don't. When I approach, it's just general conversation. Hey, how's your day going? Nice to meet you. I keep it strictly professional because I'm waiting to see signs that they're either a twilight, potential twilight, or that their inherent desire is calling out of them and reaching to me because of a need that they have. There's nothing wrong with being used. We all get used. But in my specific case, I found that there were two reasons that made me choose to be a monk. One, if I devoted myself to just one woman, think about all the other women that could benefit by knowing me or interacting with me or learning from me that would miss out just due to the fact that I'm dedicated to one woman. And we all know some women are very possessive, some get very jealous, some get insecure. And noticing that even some of those minor qualities, even within twilights that I've dealt with, it's not game. You don't play games with people's hearts or minds. And when you notice a connection like that, you have to cherish it because regardless to whether or not they live 10 to 15, 20 states away, their connection is still there. I've been married twice, and out of both times, I've had twilights reach out to me and ask me, "Are you happy? Are you comfortable? Are you satisfied?" They were
Well,
more concerned with
you know what's so deep about that, Venom? There's still going to be a twilight no matter how far away the sun is.
exactly. And I had to learn that myself because, a lot of times you start thinking, it's a fantasy. Oh, it was a fluke. It was just infatuation, or it was just a one off chance thing. But when I started recognizing the patterns, and I said, you know what? Maybe my place is not to worry about self, but in being one to sacrifice and give out more than I'm worried about receiving. There was a dark time when I wasn't considering being a monk and I was more alpha than sigma. And yes, I had my notch count. I do not deny that. The thing was, I looked at it as a waste of time. You know, you break a heart here because they're infatuated and they don't quite measure up to what you want. So you know it's not going to last. And to even indulge in it, once you get to a certain level of character, you start saying, hey, prevention is better than cure. You know, I can go without personal gratification or satisfaction if I know it'll spare somebody's feelings, if it'll spare them going through the turmoil or even being driven somewhat mad because they get a taste of something that they cannot have, they cannot handle. They desire it because they have a need for it. So I had to learn to take myself an out of body experience and say, you know what? Yes, you can meet her, you can be cordial, you can even show gentlemanly qualities, but you let her know from the jump, this is not my pursuit to make this into anything. I'm not going to deceive you in any way. I just want to teach you the lesson that'll be prosperous for you in the future. This is what you look for in a man. This is what you listen for. These are the type of character traits that you will find in somebody that you will be compatible with. And I don't mind giving out advice. Expert on anything? Only the arts. And even in that, I'm not the best expert. I understand my own skills and what I've absorbed. I understand how it works for me. And the only thing I can be is a guide to somebody else to help them start unlocking their potentials. But I'm just a messenger, I'm just an ambassador. I can show you the work, I can work with you. But one thing I cannot do is do it for you. So, with that mindset, and even hindsight now, those were the reasons that were coming up within my soul that said, you may as well be a monk. The chances of running into another twilight and it being exactly what I was looking for, even when I wasn't seeking, but what I would prefer, it's gone down the toilet so quick, with all this eminism going on and narcissists going on and women that don't even deserve a reply text but call themselves queens. Arrogance and overvaluing a person's self are two things that are severely unattractive to me. You know, when I walk around, there's times I can go to a gym and I'll just be in there lifting to get my workout on, and that's it in my own zone. But I'll notice that while I'm working out and doing it as quick as possible to get in and get out, handle the business, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, for whatever reason, from the time I stepped in the door to the time that I got warmed up to the time that I was completing and maybe blotting off some sweat with a towel and ready to exit, I'll always sense, feel, and even glance around out of my peripheral and see a lot of eyes on me. And I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. I'm nothing special. I'm just in here disciplined and doing my thing. And I started noticing that, you do stand out when people recognize the fact that he's not quite like everybody else in here. Some people come in, they got on their flashy gear, they want attention, they staring around, they got a jaw jack with somebody, they might be on their phone, they asking questions about this and that. He came in, already had a plan, obviously, and he stuck to it, executed, and he was out of here. But during the whole time, I'm noticing eyes following and watching me. And because I had that extra sensory going on, I don't really have to even make eye contact back with them to know what they're doing. And when I started noticing that Twilight specifically would notice me in a group, I'm not the tallest, not light skinned, I ain't the most handsome, I ain't even groomed. I started my no shave November in mid September, y'all. And yeah, for whatever reason, it's either they would sense my energy or they would sense the fact in the way I carried myself. For a while, I attributed that to being a former Marine, which really ain't no former. I'm still a Marine, just not active because, we walk a certain way, we carry ourselves a certain way, we have certain mannerisms. And when I noticed that it was even beyond that, then I started noticing that, hey, there's something, and I'm not going to get a big head and say I'm special or anything like that. I know I'm different, but different along the lines of you got blue pill, you got red pill, you even got black pill, and you got incels. But how many guys that you know that would pass for alpha that would choose to be a monk and they weren't motivated by heartbreak, betrayal, or a rarity, or shall I say, a scarcity mindset? It was literally a personal choice. I wanted to do it for growth. I wanted to do it for another form of discipline to challenge myself. And I wanted to do it for the fact that I knew that if I indulge in physical intimacy with a lady, there's the prerequisite that I already know that it's very easy for me to please them and just about impossible for them to please me on a physical level. But on a spiritual and mental level, I can go without physical pleasure as long as that loyalty, that honesty, and that respect is there. So, you know, that was the only thing that ended my last marriage, was the fact that I was viewed as a walking dildo by a person that claimed we had a connection, claimed they desired, wanted, and needed me, and they were just good talkers, was it. But what it broke down to when I started seeing the disrespect and the narcissistic behavior, I just literally said, hey, you know what? You can have the divorce that you want. I don't mind at all. I don't have a scarcity mindset. I can move on. I was doing well before you contacted me. And I don't mind being solo because being with you, I feel as if I am 100% solo. And it's a shame when you smell a woman's pheromones, you can smell the difference in them, and you even have extrasensory perception to know when they're lying. That comes from one, the training and the discipline, two, from being an empath. So, you know, that's one thing narcissists can't stand to get along with is empaths. They fear us to death. And it doesn't have to matter about my physical size and being. It doesn't have to matter about my capabilities and skills or even being a Second Amendment type of American. It all had to do with the fact that you cannot deceive an empath that is intelligent as well. Because I won't just be going off of emotions. Being a male empath, I got that gut instinct, I've got those emotions, and then I have that how should I say, that perception that'll allow me to basically see right through you and your deception. Your words are
Yeah.
saying one thing, but my knowledge and intellect tells me to watch actions. And then when my gut still tells me nothing's adding up right, then that basically let me know, oh, this isn't going to work. It's
Check
pretty
this out. Uh, Now with that said, all that said, it makes me wonder, like with the life of the Black Knight, because with all you just said, and you think of the thumbnail with, I use Will Smith, and I think that particular thumbnail was from iRobot. And so I'm thinking about the way he wore his clothes, like based on what you described, just bare bones, not sophisticated, pretty plain Jane, but pretty self-explanatory as far as the way you dress your clothes. You're not trying to look fly and fresh, but you look healthy, I guess, if that makes sense. And that's what I saw in that thumbnail that I used for this particular live stream. And then the other thing is, kind of like what you're saying. You come from the weight room or whatever. You come home, you probably go to the store, get some food or something like that. And then all the time you got this particular chick that's she's very interested, like you've drawn her based on your energy, so she couldn't help but to follow you. One of these days she might knock on your door, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna knock on your door, try not to be so rude, but she might slip a note under your door or something, I would think, so kind of goes in line with she's so drawn to you. She's curious. She wants to learn something about this mystique that you've brought upon her. And so I think, like in this day and age, for the Black Knight type that, attracts a Twilight, because, yeah, she could only become a Twilight being around him. I would say, like, in this day and age, this probably can help some young men out there. Like, don't be so big on trying to figure her out. It's all about her trying to figure you out. If you a certain way, she's going to try to learn from the sensei.
Mhm. And the one
And
thing I will say about a Twilight, if you know and understand yourself, and you know that there's something that's a higher calling for you to do, and you have any confusion on that or any doubt, a Twilight will be the first one to bring it up. They'll say, you know what? I bet that you're a higher rank than you think you are. I bet that you are actually one that should be here, though you carry yourself as if you're here. And they will motivate and inspire you to not only go back inside, delve deep inside to reconsider. Am I underachieving? Am I not quite doing what I should be doing? And it was just a matter of, even though I had the confidence, the skills, and etc., she was basically letting me know that you have skill that you don't claim. You have abilities that you don't show. You have knowledge that you can share, but you're select with. And she said, I would bet that you're a black belt. I said, oh, no, I'm not a black belt. Because at the time, I was a high brown sash of Kung Fu and a high brown belt of karate. But she literally called it out. And at the same time, I was a high green belt of Taekwondo. But she called it out and she said, you know what? I bet that you're a higher rank because it's been years since you told me you took the test to achieve those ranks, which means around about 2005 was when I had those three previous ranks of those different systems and styles. 2012, after disciplined study solo on my own with no guidance, I jumped rank from a high brown sash of Kung Fu and a high brown belt of karate and a high green belt of taekwondo to a unified third degree black belt of the Sholem Tay system. And I did that in one test. But it was a student that is also a Twilight and is also married that recognized that and saw that in me from me teaching her and showing her, which has started off as just a general friendship. She had a husband, family, they both worked, met them, kids great. She was cool, husband's cool. And she said basically because of the work that she did, she wanted to learn a bit more about self defense in case she would ever need it, because she wanted to be prepared and not just rely upon a man to help her, but to utilize whatever she could possibly on her own to correct the situation if necessary. So she trained, and after about 6 months is when she came with those questions. And I wasn't an official sensei then. I wasn't even a black belt. I just told her, I said, look, I can teach you some of what I know, what you can retain, and what you will learn. It will help you out, but I don't even claim to be a master. So don't worry about no specific name or rank or none of that. I'm not even worried about promoting you belt wise. I just want to make sure that you have some tools in your box if need be, the same desire that you had when you came to me. And once I done that, then I took a trip, tested, and come back. Of course, I shared the news. I said, you know what? You were right. I was indeed a black belt or above, but even though I might have had an inkling in my mind, or possibly even looked at the fact that I've seen people that claim to be black belts before that, it was good for breaking bricks and boards or hitting bags, but being a practitioner, somebody to compete with it, I saw too many holes in their game because I was one that I trained not for competition, not to prove anything to anybody but myself, but mainly for my health, my fitness, and acquiring skills, something to do outside of the norm. So when she noticed that, and then I confirmed that, she's like, okay, so what is it? I said, well, I was told to get a black belt and to put 3 red stripes on it and assume the title of sensei. And she said, wow. She said, I knew it was something. And I said, well, I'm glad that you asked, and I'm glad that you were inquisitive about that, because unless you would have asked, I would have just continued to do what I was doing, and I wouldn't even known for sure myself. Even though deep in my core, I felt it, which is why I already took it upon myself to do what I was doing, helping friends and family or anybody that needed that knowledge, information. If they had been victims of domestic violence or abuse, or I seen them being bullied, and I would tell them, hey, this is ways you can diffuse things. This is things you can do to protect yourself. This is how you can survive situations. This is what you can do to strengthen your body, to gain mobility, agility, and skills. So I was doing it all just out of the love of the fact that I always did it. And what I find nowadays is that, in essence, to Ronin, ninjas, ancient warriors, fast forward to present time, that's your present day Black Knight, without even worried about it being a title. Like you have men that are MGTOW and live that mindset and philosophy without claiming the title. I was already there. So it was a matter of
Right.
my next level of progression was to say, okay, cool. I've got some skills. I'm okay. I fare pretty well. I have the confidence. I don't doubt myself, and I know how to push myself. So what I need to do is figure out more ways to contribute to society, not just for
And
money
just
or
think,
riches.
uh, just think like with the white knight on the opposite end, he has everything handed to him. Silver spoon, all of that. He's very outspoken about it, you know? And a lot of things is everything you just said, you couldn't get a white knight to even think of half of those things. He has to go off script. He has to read books. I'm pretty sure like a lot of things you speak on is from experiences. You probably didn't have to read a book on a lot of things. A lot of people formulate a lot of their ideas from books. Now, don't get me wrong, books are cool. There are a
Mhm.
lot of books I like to read, but there has to be to where that book actually adds to your own philosophy. I think that's what's key about the life of an actual Black Knight in these times.
Yeah, Black Knight is one that will utilize their environment, and they will make a tool out of just about anything. They will figure out a way to make it helpful. They'll figure out a way to utilize it as a weapon if necessary. A white knight, oh, they got to have the shiniest, biggest, latest, all that kind of stuff, which is very unnecessary. If you go with white knight, you got somebody that's flashy. They're arrogant because they feel like their social status and their stature calls for that. Black knight don't need attention. A black knight is going to be one when it's time for action. It's going to be very few words. It's just going to go down, and it won't look
Yep.
pretty. is just going to get handled, and then they're just going to mosey on about their way as if that was just another step climbing the flight. You know, black knights and white knights, they can work together, but the difference is white knights are doing it for the approval. They're doing it for the exposure. They're doing it for the fame. They're doing it for the money. Black knights operate off of principle and gut. If your instinct, just like somebody says, you know, if to not even get deeply religious, if they say, well, the Lord pretty much instructed me to do this. That's where you'll find closer to the essence of a black knight, because a black knight doesn't need to be famous. They don't need to be popular. All they have to be is respected. That is the currency of a black knight. If you got that respect and secondarily loyalty, a black knight will consider you as a comrade that they could depend on if ever need be. But being a black knight and living that lifestyle, you find yourself in isolation from a lot of the venues of society, because to you it's frivolous, you know, it's pointless, it's not contributing to anything positive. Now, mind you, I'll donate to a charity, I'll help out a fundraiser, I'll volunteer and do work here and there, but it's not just because somebody asked me, it's because I
So
see it in me.
so check this out. Like with what you said, like basically that's what makes also goes back to what makes the Twilight so special, because she accepts the world of a black knight. Just basically everything you just described was his world and his life, and she sees that as like the ultimate right there for her. Like that excites her, that type of man.
They would enjoy that peace, calm, and tranquility that can be in a cardboard box with the rain coming down in a storm, but you just got just enough shelter in you too. She could do the same if you was in a mansion, but you weren't the type of person that made it from it being inherited. You made it from getting out and getting it from the mud and building up to it. Twilight is one that will come into your life when you're at your lows, when you're about to peak at your highs, or somebody that'll literally just come through to let you know you ain't by yourself.
Exactly. And the cool thing was me and Sunrise Hoodie brought up this idea that like, a black knight can easily tell when a witch is trying to disguise herself as a twilight, and we got the baddest sword to chop that head off. We got the baddest sword in the business.
Exactly. Now you
you know.
think about it like that, those that deceive, a black knight is one of those people that, okay, you laid a trap, you planned it well, this and that, and you have, say, like a succubus contact him and say, hey, I miss you, won't you come around? Now, knowing this is a setup to have him robbed, killed, whatever, a black knight is one of those people that, you know what, they'll play naive long enough to walk into that trap and turn it all the way out. That's a black knight. A black knight never operates in fear, though they will have respect and know that they're not immortal. They also know that they are vulnerable and still human. But it's the fact that they're valiant enough to put their life on the line for their principles, that they're not going to be like a white knight. A white knight, oh yeah, here I come to save the day. Hey, y'all see what I'm doing? Let me take this selfie. A black knight, leave your phone at home. We just finna go handle something. Now, the best I can tell you about it is it's going to be dangerous. So if you're not up for a risk, possible self-harm or whatever, or the hazards that can come with it, I'm letting you know now to make your choice. Black Knights have been some of the greatest military leaders we've had. Some of the greatest military leaders, strategists all over the world were Black Knights. Some white knights took credit for Black Knights' work, which Black Knights really don't mind,
Oh
because
man, yeah.
they
Yo,
feel like, you know what, you want that limelight, you go for it, because then when the hate comes, you'll be that target. The black knight is just sitting there like, you know what, I don't need to be popular or nothing else at all, but if I have a need, yeah, pay me what you owe, but I'm not going to ask you for anything more than that, and I'm not going to even rent out my services at an unfair price. Say, for instance, you need personal protection or security, or you want to learn self-defense. I'll tell you straight up, for a meal, $20 a session, I got you. As long as you don't waste my time, my effort, or my energy.
This brings up another good point. So you think like in the regular life of a Black Knight type of a guy, he basically has the mindset of a mercenary. Basically, he does anything for hire. He's kind of by himself. You know, he's not really like the type that likes to work too much into corporate America. He's kind of like a contractor type of a guy. What's your thoughts on that?
A Black Knight would be an entrepreneur. A Black Knight would be that artist that was ostracized from society. A mercenary, not, because a Black Knight has morals, standards, principles, and
Mm,
values.
gotcha.
You know, you'll find mercenaries out of white knights because they got something to show for it. They're more about show. They're all about limelight. They're all about the acceptance of others. A Black Knight don't care if you like it or not. If it's something that rocks them to their core, they about to do everything within their power to get it back along the right lines. And it ain't just gonna be a conversation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Bradley brought up a good point. So the Black Knight can remain flexible and resourceful. The White Knight is a lot more linear in ability and thinking. Yeah, I mean, the White Knight is very tunnel vision. I mean, they could be focused given on the assignment, the instructions, the mandates, the rules and regulations of society, like based on what they're given from that gynocracy or what we call the plantation. But like the Black Knight, he can cultivate, you know, incubate. Oh, yes, that's it, Brown Do Life. Yes, we should all strive to be Black Knights. Yes, indeed. And then, you
Especially
know,
in today's terms.
yes. And if you want to go further and go into being a monk, you can do that too. So I'd say Black Knight or monk are the two ways to go in these times.
And of course, because I am living monk life, I would say monk is what you would want to pursue because even being a Black Knight, you have to choose your battles. They're all white knights, and though they may have different things that push them to do what they do, that does not mean that their skills aren't comparable to a Black Knight. A Black Knight even could have formerly been a white knight, if you know what I mean. That's another
That's
twist I
true.
wanted to add because
Yeah,
I was raised.
me and Sunrise Hoodie thought that same thing too. Say you right on point with that. That's
I
true.
was raised to be a white knight. I was trained from the time that I could walk in several systems of martial arts that till this day I couldn't name them all. I couldn't name every technique. I couldn't show you all of the forms. But it was put in me so that I would be prepared for my future. And even when I was training in Taekwondo, before I even put on the white belt to start wearing that with my uniform and working my way up, you know, because I had previous skills and knowledge and talent that had no label to it, others around me recognized. They said, "Where did you train that before?" And to me, I was dumbfounded, like, nowhere. I ain't took no karate classes or nothing like that. I guess I'm a natural picking it up. But it took me meditating and getting a deeper understanding. And then I would get flashes and glimpses of my past as early as 1 years old, if not prior, that made me further understand. And of
Did you
course,
know did you know Bruce Lee was a natural too? I think he had at first he had a sensei, but then like when he moved to California, he basically threw all his martial arts books away and started from scratch.
he
And then he
didn't
came up
throw
with
them away, he discarded what was not useful.
right,
What he
right, right.
found useful, he refined it. And any martial artist that takes that journey, it doesn't matter. Whatever the system name is, a punch is a punch, a kick is a kick, dodging, blocking, parrying, they can be recognized in several systems. Exactly how you do it and when is what gives you pretty much that differentiation of what style or system you're in. What he did was express what the arts had done for him, not just on a physical or metaphysical, or spiritual level, but just from within. He was like, there's something missing. There's something needed. It needs to adapt. It needs to progress. The theory of most martial arts is that you got a guide, your instructors, etc., your co-students and all that, and they can only show and share with you and teach you so much. There comes a point in time when you have to innovate, adapt, and overcome on your own. And that's what allows you to ascend to the next level. So, with that said, as I was speaking before, the white knights can be comparable in skill to a black knight. It's the motivations and drive that are different.
That's true. That's very true. And I thought about that in reflection of the armor. So that's why I felt like the Black Knight, as I told with the Sunrise Hoodie, the Black Knight's armor has infinite strength just based on his drive. Whereas with the White Knight, he has decent armor, but it's just pretty much made out the factory. If it gets destroyed, they just give him some other armor, but it's not based on that drive. It's based on his entitlement. So he might have a similar skill set, but that strength level, oh man, I don't think it's comparable to the Black Knight. Brown Dude Life, he said, I'm on a spiritual path for sure. Being a Christian, Black Knight / monk does sound good to me going forward. Yep, keep going in that direction, Brown Dude Life. Just to kind of wrap up our live, and then maybe you could finish up with your closing thoughts, Venom. I was just gonna say, like, just overall, kind of what I was saying earlier myself was like, with the Twilight for sure, because kind of like based on what you said, she becomes symbiotic to you, but also
Mhm.
with what you've been putting out there, she's definitely like your comrade, or she's learning, or she wants to be by your side like that comrade, you know what I'm saying? So she's definitely there. And it's like, but this is something obviously that's rare. That's the other thing I want people to understand. This is a rare thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when it happens, it was meant to happen. So it's like
Mhm.
usually the Black Knight is reserved, he's quiet, always busy, you know what I'm saying? So he usually doesn't answer his door, or he don't talk to nobody unless he's in the mood. You know what I'm saying? So and I was gonna tell people, because sometimes I tell this to people, someone that's of a Black Knight type, or they might call the mysterious gentleman, his lack of involvement does not mean his lack of commitment, you know.
Mhm.
So he's like Michael Jordan. He's just gonna shoot the shot when it counts. You might know instinctively when it's the right time to show up. And then I'll see what Bradley's gonna say right quick here. He said, "Is it the respect and the connection of the sacred that leads to Black Knight?" And I guess that's obviously in the stage, and Monk is the stage beyond Black Knight for those who go to that Monk stage. But yeah, you could go ahead and freestyle from that Venom, and that'll be part of your closing statements too. What you think of what Bradley said?
Definitely. He's hitting on 3 points. One point being respect. That's one of the things that for sure, you know what I'm saying, a black knight values more than even the money that he may desire. The connection is undeniable. It's like many a times when I have lucid dreams or astral travel during meditation or REM sleep, the very rare times that I have it, I'm seeing visions of me in faraway lands with ancient weapons, some of which I made sure that in present day I possess, because incoherently I was able to wield them and use them with proficiency as if I previously existed. And that
Yes, yes,
connection to the sacred is
yes,
basically like saying, Twilight in my life, a lot of times they will approach me in the way that I described it, to be a Valkyrie. They want me to teach them so they can assist me. And there's no denying it. Even if they don't say exactly that, they make it known just through acts, just through respect, just through camaraderie, which you don't find much in people that say, hey, you know what? They may look up to you, but they'll be like, that's your job. You handle that. But when you have true comrades, they're like, okay, I see the mission you on. This is how I can assist, or this is the position I can play. Teach me enough to do that well. And a Black Knight will not waste time or hesitate to do that because he understands that allies are rare, far and few in between. And Black Knights, historically and present day wise, and as far as I can perceive into the future, are severely outnumbered. That's why the fortitude, the dedication, the
Facts,
discipline and
facts.
training, they're all very necessary because just the training alone could be hazardous to your health. You know, you can be injured in training in the arts, boxing, any physical contact sport. When you're dealing with weapons and you're learning how to either protect or take lives, you know, that's very dangerous. And
Hey,
then when
I'm
you
gonna say
know,
this. I'm gonna say this. Finish up your point. I was gonna say this. Hey, ladies, you want some good love making? You need to know a Black Knight.
make love to you on the phone, won't even have to touch you. But yeah, they express that loyalty, that honesty, that respect, and they're always willing to not only get in there and assist you because they know what you're facing. They can open their eyes and see just like you do, being a reflection of your light. That twilight, that Valkyrie, once she achieves a certain level of physical skill and ability, they're going to be ready for that. They're going to know, hey, if a shit hits the fan scenario comes along, I know at least 6 women right now that a lot of men should be in fear of, but they have no clue. I also know some very tight comrades, a few that, like myself, started off blue pill, started off being brought up to be white knights, but decided to be black knight after being red pilled and other things through life that I ain't got to talk to them every day. It's been some I ain't talked to in years. But when we do speak, it's still a connection there. It's beyond even gender. It's beyond distance, time, and space, I would say, because I even have a child that is a Valkyrie slash Twilight, my oldest. And she's told me through confirmation that through meditation, she's discovered who she really is and how powerful she is. And the only thing I could do is acknowledge it the few times I was able to speak with her. And it's a legacy that it passes on either genetically, spiritually, but it's far beyond physical. And it is a very solo road. So remember, solo is not lonely because I don't have to have anybody in my physical presence to feel the closeness, camaraderie, and comfort of knowing that there are others like me, that we all have that mindset. We have those moral principles and values. And it is so rare that it is unmistakable. That's my spiel on it.
Oh yeah, that's what's up, man. So my closing thoughts, I guess I would say, and yeah, I mean, you know, there's been all this talk out here in these YouTube streets about dates and things like that. You know, should you take her out on a date? What about a Black Knight type of guy? First and foremost, you know, for those who just came in the building, Raining Woman, I see you, I see you. Uh, you know, he's going, you know, you saw the thumbnail with the way Will Smith look. He's going to just have a very, very non-complicated look. He's not trying to look like the Fly Guy, but he's going to be suave, smooth in the quality of his clothes, you know. He's not really he's just got this James Bond 007 vibe to him as well, I would say. So keep that in mind. But also to me personally, he doesn't believe in dinner dates. You know, basically a dinner is not a date. You know, it's just a dinner. You want some eat? Let's go eat. You know, but that's for the twilight. That's the catch. It's for the twilight. It's not just any old damsel or spinster out there. Yes, if you don't know what spinster is, look that up. Okay.
Now, I'll
But
add that a twilight is 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, going to be the only reason a black knight will get chivalrous, meaning
See,
that they will go out and they will show them a very gentlemanly way, meaning they will romanticize them, be romantic, and show true intimacy from conversation to touch to actual sexual energy to actual whatever relation they have. That's the difference. And you can't fake being a Twilight. I have had women in the past that pulled the wool over enough through just deceptive ways, or me not being so in tune with my abilities, or even them going and contacting witch doctors and attempting to put me under a spell, of which I was protected because I had enough spiritual grounding, enough faith and belief, and then a spiritual eye that had already been awakened to see through it, even though I went along just enough, to enjoy the physical intimacy and then basically let them know, oh, that didn't work.
right. And Kimberly Blue, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, check out those videos about female black knights, aka the Twilight, or actually known as the Twilight. Check that out in that playlist. Also check out you'll see also the Black Knight within that playlist, live streams from yours truly. Do that. And yes, Venom, he's definitely a good example of the gentleman, and you know, prior to his pre-monk days, and so he understands this Black Knight thing very well. Uh, like he said, he was living this long before there was even an idea. So that's how you know someone's authentic. Because they've been living a certain way before it was even talked about. You know, but yeah, I would say also you know, this idea of being romantic doesn't even come across to a Black Knight type of a guy. It's just, I would say it's just something that would naturally occur with, it's just a rare occurrence with only a Twilight, because it's not about wasting time. It's not about that extra stress. So this actually helps a lot of these young guys coming up too with these issues of dating and what he should do, and should he involve himself around, should he pump and dump and all that. No, 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 no. Just learn about being a Black Knight. That's all you need to know. So somebody on this play on this replay, just yeah, follow up, check my playlist out. But yeah, one more thing I'll add to all this too is his home. I would say the Black Knight's home isn't cluttered, or at best it's makeshift. He don't have he ain't overspending on making his house the nicest looking home on the block. It's just everything he needs. He's not into the whole MTV Cribs thing. So I would say he don't even invite a lot of people to his home. He's a little cautious of everybody. So yeah, if it's a Twilight, she'd probably, yeah, it'd be rare if she even comes to his home. So it's just a special thing. Like if something like that happens, like you said, there's no faking it. So even if a Twilight came to his home, it was based on just that authenticity and that connection. But yeah, usually I would say, yeah, he ain't gonna trust nobody else, pretty much.
The main thing I would say to all you young ladies and men out there, don't worry about putting labels on yourself. Don't worry about following the crowd. Be authentic, be true to yourself. Pursue your desires and do such in a way to where when you stand to gain, you can also reach down to your side, off to your side, or even up to help somebody else. Because the value and measure of a person being of a true high value is in how you touch other people's lives. Being sexual, for ladies, scientifically proven, you're lessening your value the more people you add. But the flip side of that is, even on the male side of the gender, you are devaluing yourself to spread yourself thin with anything less than quality. If you remember those two tidbits that I just shared there, and like I said, stay true to yourself, be authentic in your actions, pursue your desires, but do so in a way to where you know that if you're going to benefit, you can also help somebody else out. And you won't have too many problems in this life. A Black Knight will come along that you ain't even seen or ain't even been paying attention to, and he won't be doing it for your affection. It won't be no grandiose gesture. It'll just be coming in to assist you as you would assist him in a time of need.
And that's basically the difference between the guy with the cape and the Black Knight that don't have one. So, but yeah, everybody, we definitely gonna wrap this up here. It's been good to have y'all around. And yeah, this is a good point, Brown Do Life. Yeah, you said yeah, for those on the replay, come to the spiritual side over here at this channel. And yes, subscribe to Venom G54. His channel got that little spiritual element to it as well, because we doing things different over here nowadays. And meaning based on what Brown Do Life just said in this one, this quote here, denounce the non-spiritual side of the red pill manosphere. Yes, I don't see a lot of that, what I hear as red pill. You know, to me, the red pill is part of you. It's out of body, out of matrix. There's that spiritual side. Like you got to get spiritual with this nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, peace out. I am sweet. Glad you stopped by. Yes, another one, another doozy. Yes, indeed. But yeah, everybody, this was a dope live stream, and we just glad y'all stopped by. Of course, it's always a pleasure having you around, Venom.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to come in and throw my 2 cents down for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, man, it was well needed, because people need to see examples. They need to hear experiences. This ain't just a philosophy. Like, it's more than that. People are actually living off these philosophies. Practicality, pragmatic. You know, there's examples. He gave y'all an example. You know, so hopefully y'all enjoyed it as much as I did.
Well, until next time, for sure. And anytime you need somebody to question, comment, contribute, hit me up. I'll make sure I stay as available as possible. Now,
Yeah,
outside
most
that,
definitely.
just make sure you know what I'm saying, that outside all these folks out here that is doing everything for personal gain, and ain't nothing wrong with making legitimate money, but confusing and distracting folks for personal gain, that's against my grain as far as being a black knight, and definitely against my grain as far as being a monk. And that'll set off my spidey sense, and I don't mind at all correcting somebody. Now, if they'll take the correction, in good faith and understand that it's coming from a place of love and me looking out for those that may not know any better, then I have no problem with them. But anybody that's out there to deceive the masses or to push an agenda, you know, I don't even tune into them. You know what I'm saying? I have to like stay
Thanks.
away from that because I don't want that energy. And being spiritual on any level at all, you got to denounce the BS of society, the BS of manipulation, the
Yeah,
repressed anger, the demonic influences and things like that are trying to take hold of society and drag us all down.
exactly. Exactly. So with all that said, y'all take care. Got another live stream coming up in a few days. I'm pretty sure me and Venom will get out there in the woods and hunt down for something else and bring back to y'all the feast on real soon. You know,
Hey,
but
y'all make sure to comment on my channel, subscribe. It's right there in the name on YouTube. I cover my hobbies, a bit of fitness, and I'll eventually start putting some philosophy up there. But I've just kind of been along the lines of being a former photographer and all that good stuff. I like to have some subject matter other than just talk. And when I talk, it's usually because there's a need, there's a desire to hear something, an alternate perspective. So, I don't mind participating in collabs. Y'all not going to see me on too many panels because I'm not one to argue with folks. I'll just state facts from my understanding. Outside of that, hey, I'll let them be. But y'all, it's been a pleasure being here at the other AJ. You know what it is. Anytime, man, hit me up, brother, because like minds and great minds think alike. And on top of that, being spiritually connected, you know what I'm saying? Brother from another mother. And with that, I'm going ahead and zip it. It's been a pleasure to be here with y'all tonight. Y'all take it easy from my end.
All right, y'all, and for sure, and same with you, Venom. You know, like it is written, two or more in agreement. There I am in the midst. So you know, the higher power, greater energy is making this live pop even more. So but yeah, y'all, much love and cool gent. Thanks for stopping by as well, fam. I see you in the building. Yeah, but yeah, everybody, we gonna enjoy the rest this week. And I got another live stream coming up in a few days, so stay tuned for that. Given the date of this live stream. So until next time, signing out, and thanks for stopping by once again, y'all.